Oh God. Being gay is sick, and every time when I go to school, I always get bullied, and every time I go home, I go, and I thought that it had suffered when I knocked him off, but since he's calling me, he's still alive. He continued, and I sighed, and more tears were streaming down his cheeks. I wiped his tears away on his cheeks, and I rubbed his cheeks softly with my thumb. Don't be worried. Don't worry. I'm here, and you're going to be safe. As I said to Ty, nodded politely, and I smiled lightly at him, and he smiled back weakly. He buried his face on my shoulder and put my arm around his shoulder, and I pulled him a bit closer to me. He started to whimper, and I shushed him and kissed his forehead. Everything's going to be alright. You're safe with me, I said softly. He slowly looked up to me, and I smiled and promised me that you won't cut again, I added as I frowned, and he sighed. I promise, I promise, I promise, he said, and I tried to smile. I kissed his nose, and he giggled and chuckled. Well, moving on to chapter 2, well, let's go. Ty's bug. I woke up when I was in my bed, hugging a pillow. I quickly sat up, and I looked around. It's a dream, I knew it. I sighed sadly, but when I looked around, I saw a note on my night desk. I took it and read it. The note. Hey Ty, sorry for leaving you, but I think you're tired, so I think I should let you sleep for a while. I'll come back in a few hours, okay? And I love you, Ty. From Adam. Adam Le and note. I smiled and I put the note on the nightstand again. Suddenly I heard the door downstairs bang open. I stood up and went downstairs quickly. Then what I saw was a horrible surprise. Nice to see you again, son, my dad said as he smiled evilly. I made at me and kicked me out, but I got hard, kicked in my gut hard. I fell on my knees, and I grabbed my throat, and lifted me up. I tried to strangle, but he threw me on a wall, and it hit me back hard. I started to spit blood out, and my dad suddenly stabbed a knife on my back, and I screamed in pain. He pulled out the knife out of my back and fell on the ground, bleeding too much. No, Ty, don't give up! The voice came back again, and suddenly I stood up slowly, and I punched my dad in the face hard, and he stumbled back. I was surprised that the voice in my head was controlling me. Then my dad kicked me again on the gut, but too hard this time, and I fell again on the ground, and my head banged on the door and the floor. I don't even know, on the floor, hard as my head started to bleed a lot. Then Dad used a knife and cut some of my arms. My vision started to be blurry. I heard my dad chuckle evilly, and I blocked out Adam. I was on my way to Ty's place when I saw his house. His house door was wide open. I quickly ran inside his house. I saw blood around. I looked around and I saw Ty laying on a pool of blood on the floor, and I ran to him and kneeled down beside him. I didn't care that my clothes would be soaked in blood. My eyes started to water and tears streamed down on my face. My eyes started to water down, streaming down my face, and I hugged Ty, not even caring if my clothes are soaked in blood. I should have stayed with you. This is my entire fault. I'm sad and crying. This was all my fault because I left him. And I didn't know his dad has come. And I looked at Ty once more. He had cuts in his arms. And it's like it's been a cut again. And his back, it's like he had a stabbed in by a knife. He was been stabbed because I saw the knife inside him. I will kill you. I will kill your father when I see him. I will totally kill him. I murmured, I don't even know, as I stood up and wiped my tears. I picked up my phone out of the pocket and called an ambulance. I carried Ty to the brittle stile. As I heard this ambulance, I was inside some kind of dark place, and it was really dark. Can't walk through, but I stopped when the voice came back. Are you okay? You know that you've been knocked out. This is making me pissed off, but the voice kind of helped me. So I should be nice. I feel nothing but the cold air, as I said to myself. But as I was talking to the voice, you have to wake up. He's waiting for you. He is so worried about you. I nodded my head. I nodded to myself. Then I felt dizzy. Then I saw the light and I ran to the light. But I was getting slower and slower. But then my vision started to be blurry. It got clear again. My dizziness is gone. But when I looked down, I saw a knife stabbed in my heart. Then I looked up to see my dad smiling evilly. I finally fluttered my eyes open since the light is too bright. I squeezed my eyes tight closed. I opened my eyes again and I look around. I am at a hospital. Suddenly the doctor came in and got surprised that I'm awake. Your friend is outside waiting for you. Visiting hours will be a few minutes, the doctor said with a smile. And Danny, it's not time for that! In a few minutes, the doctor said with a smile, and I nodded. After a few minutes, Danny, this is some serious business, dude. After a few minutes passed, it's visiting hours. The doctor let my friend in, but it wasn't just my friend, my boyfriend, Adam. He smiled widely at me, and I smiled back at him. Quickly, the doctor let us talk, so he left. Adam sat on a chair beside me and looked at me worried. I'm sorry. I should have not left you. Adam said as he rubbed my cheek with his thumb softly, and I sighed, looked back at Adam. His eyes were a little red, and his face was a little red too. Did he really cry for me? Adam, it's okay, at least I'm fine, I said. As misunderstanding. As I said, I healed his hand. The problem is my dad could be anywhere near my house. I added my smile disappear. Adam frowned in size, but put his forehead against mine and kissed my nose lightly. My cheeks turned red, and Adam noticed it because he chuckled. I smiled then. Suddenly, my smile disappeared again. Adam looked at me, confused, and sighed. How long was I out? I asked, and this made Adam smile sadly. 3 weeks, Adam said, his eyes starting to water. My eyes lit in. I tried to make Adam calm down, and he did. I stared at him, and he stared back, and I guess I'm not going to take a staring contest.